Man, Coach, the last time I saw you, it was in Indiana. We were heading to Milwaukee. Next thing you know, the season is canceled. So in the meantime, it's been a while. This is the longest I've ever gone without seeing you in the season. So how you been, and how you handling, like the situation right now?
Well, I said this the other day. I think the biggest thing is, we are my family's all been together for the whole time since we landed from Milwaukee, and we're just like everybody else, heartbroken with what's going on around us, and but thankful to all of the people that are dealing with it on the front lines, and specifically our medical community. And it feels, almost feels you wish you could do more. I guess everybody's doing their part by hunkering down, but certainly, from our standpoint, we're all doing fine, and obviously thinking about others as much as we can.
So when this whole thing unfolded, and obviously you played Utah a couple of days before, you guys had to get tested, and then was it weird just sitting around waiting and waiting for results that you don't really know what's going on?
Well, first of all, only the players, with a very few staff that were directly in contact were. So most of us weren't, myself included. And so, you're waiting for those to come back on the players. And obviously, thoughts went directly to Smart when he got his back. He was one of the first to get his back. Some guys were, it was, 9 or 10 days or whatever it was. And, we're thankful that he's done well, and, showed very little symptoms, if any, and is clear now. But I'm also really, thankful that he's talked about donating his plasma and trying to figure out how he can help now, post his diagnosis. But, for the most part, we were just like everybody else, and we were told if you have symptoms, let the doctors know. Otherwise, just try to stay in your little bubble of people that you're around.
And how much communication do you have with the players? Do you once a week, or do you guys tell them, hey, just stay ready, we never know what's going to happen here?
So we've got a lot of things going on that are just kind of fun. And, like, we've set up some virtual training and strength training sessions. I've got one of our guys is coming up with these different defensive challenges to do just for a little conditioning that you can do by setting up cones, within a small area, whether you're inside or outside. We've got some ball handling videos going out that are just, again, fun. Usually our assistants that, just doing it and putting a little music to it, or putting, a title to it. And if guys want to do it, they can. And then we get together, maybe once a week, twice a week at most on Zoom. And, I've kind of done something where we've invited some people in to talk to them via Zoom, and, just focused on how we can, and then talking about really the state of the world and the state of, obviously our games. We haven't had any updates from the league really, but, when I was coaching at Butler, we had a lot of guys that were fringe pros. So they might get called, in September and have to go overseas, the next day or 2 days later. So we always said, as an athlete, especially a professional athlete, you should always stay a week away from your best shape. And I'd say that that's probably never been more true than right now. Maybe it's not a week. Obviously, we're looking down the road, if at all. But we're trying to stay engaged in ways that are fun. People want to be a part of. And that we can participate in as coaches too. Like, we've had some pretty hysterical videos of coaches doing some defensive drills flying through the text chain.
Well, during this time, you always seem like a guy, like in the off season, you would read a certain book or anything like that. Like, what is Brad Stevens doing right now for like his personal growth?
Well, first of all, I did my whole postseason evaluation like I always do if we were at the end of the year. So that's been really helpful. You never get a chance to do that and then go back with the team you just coached. and usually you're changing, 10 people or 8 people or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if we do get a chance to go back and play, it'll be interesting to see how everybody picks up, what teams decide to do from a tweak standpoint and all that stuff. But, I think for the most part, we've got a whole system and way of playing on both ends but there are small things that you'll be able to do. And if, again, we do get back to playing, I'm assuming that there would be some preparation period to that. And maybe you are able to throw in a new thing or two, which is good. Other than that, I'm trying to, read, catch up on some TV, catch up on some shows. With my wife, we've enjoyed just kind of spending time together and with the kids. I don't think I've ever been home for whatever it is, 3 straight weeks.
You and Brady get in the backyard and hoop it up a little bit?
We do. We're fortunate to have a basket, which is nice. But he's shooting and doing all the ball handling stuff that he likes to do. And then Kinsley's been doing all the soccer stuff. And I've done more soccer juggling in the past 4 weeks than I've done in a long time. But we have such an easy, life compared to what we're really going through. And so you almost feel bad, doing your part by staying at home with your family, right? But I think ultimately, we're very fortunate, and so it's been a time where we've spent a lot more time trying to think about how we can help from where we're sitting.
You've heard all the different formats that might happen, might not. Going to one location. Like, where do you stand on all that? Do you have an opinion, or are you just saying like, hey, whatever it is, and I just got to make the best of it?
Well, first of all, my own personal thought would be that health is the number one priority. Not only of the people involved, but just where we are in society, where we are with, the virus in general, what advancements we've made, all those types of things. So, beyond that, there's a lot of smart people that'll put their heads together and figure out the best way to move forward. But I think that's clearly the priority, which it should be. And, glad we reacted when we did. When you think about, being in an arena with 20,000 people, just the day before, it was pretty unique. I mean, me and you were doing, when you were interviewing me, we were sitting 8 feet apart, and, it was just a unique deal. And so, I'm hoping to get back to normal at some point, but we realize that that's probably a long way away. And there's a lot of people working really hard and working a lot of hours to make that possible.
And at all, have you ever thought about playing games with no fans? Like, is that something that?
Well, we thought we were going to play that Milwaukee game with no fans, not because they had said anything, not because we had any inside information, but San Francisco had just made their announcement. Golden State is planning on playing that Thursday night with no fans. So late afternoon, early evening of that Wednesday night, as we were preparing for Milwaukee, I'm getting my stuff together and, putting my sheets together and everything else. And, I'm thinking about what that's going to be like, if that's the case. But, obviously when the Oklahoma City game happened and you're watching it live on TV, you're like, it's bigger than that.